The proposal is in the new broadcasting bill published today, which contains plans for sweeping changes to television and radio. The government says that the plans will mean more choice for the viewer. Critics say quality will suffer.
7, 6, 5.
The bill promises a revolution in commercial broadcasting. The government hopes more competition will produce more choice for viewers and listeners. The most controversial proposal, that a new Independent Television Commission, or ITC, should auction ITV companies' franchises to the highest bidder. Renamed Channel 3, ITV will still have to provide regional programmes and news. In addition, bidders must promise a sufficient amount of high-quality programmes, like this drama. But money spent on buying a franchise may have to come out of programme budgets, giving viewers a worse service.
This seems likely to us to decrease quality of programming in the 90s, and certainly I don't think anybody would pretend that it would do anything to enhance quality.
Remember, there can be no competitive tender without all of those who compete having passed the most rigorous quality threshold. They have to show the ITC that they want to and have the capability to produce good quality programmes.
The bill also proposes a new fifth channel covering 70% of the country, envisages Channel 4 selling its own advertising in competition with ITV, and establishes new rules to prevent newspaper magnates controlling broadcasting companies.
I also fear for the great national events which have been available in every home in the country that had a television set up to now. The Grand National, Cup Final, Test matches, Wimbledon. It may well be that they get sold off. They're available to some people with some sets, but not available to everybody.
Commercial radio is also set to expand. There'll be 3 new national networks and up to 300 local radio stations, licensed by a new radio authority. The government can expect stiff opposition to its auction proposal in both the Commons and the Lords. There's the prospect of a backbench rebellion if proposals to safeguard the range and quality of programmes aren't strengthened. But the government says it is willing to listen to what it calls genuine ideas for improving its proposals.
Now, just after 10 o'clock, we join ITN for the news.
Labour says leaked letter proves Rover deception. Thatcher faces co-Mitterrand Euro summit deal. Broadcasting in the 90s, the government's changes. Czechoslovakia's Prime Minister resigns. And an island exile for England's World Cup fans.
Published the bill which will shape the future of British broadcasting. There'll be a 5th television channel and hundreds of new radio stations. It's the biggest shake-up in television and radio since ITV was set up in 1955. The government says its broadcasting bill will increase choice. Labour says there may be more buttons to press, but programme quality will suffer.
The government's plans for TV have been criticised by the broadcasting media and representatives of the viewing public, who say they'll lead to lower standards. But the government is confident that its broadcasting bill contains ample protection for quality programming like drama and news. The bill follows closely the provisions of the Broadcasting White Paper published last year. It sets up a new national Channel 5 and a network of local microwave stations to provide community television. The Independent Broadcasting Authority is replaced by an Independent Television Commission, the ITC, to have a lighter touch in its regulation of programmes. ITV franchises will be sold off to the highest bidder, subject to a quality threshold, but that could still put the future of established companies and their programmes in doubt. ITV will be renamed Channel 3. Under the bill, the ITC will nominate one or more bodies, like ITN, to provide what's described as high-quality news. The proposals also affect radio. There'll be 3 national networks to be sold by auction, and there'll be hundreds of community radio stations to provide truly local radio. Big sporting events like the Cup Final, Wimbledon and the Grand National will be able to sell exclusive rights of coverage to the highest bidder, so they could in future only be available to people with satellite dishes. But the broadcasting minister says the proposals in the bill are flexible.
My door is open to sensible people who share my wish to see more broadcasting opportunities, but ensure that we keep that British quality of broadcasting, which is famous the world over.
I think its central weakness is that it's going to provide television franchises to those with deep pockets and shallow commitments to the viewer's interests.
Pressing more buttons isn't more choice unless something different happens when those buttons are pressed. If you press one button and get Mickey Mouse, and press the next and get Donald Duck, and press the next and get Pluto, that's not a real choice.
The Independent Television Companies Association is disappointed that TV franchises are still to be sold to the highest bidder.
We think that the government really is out on a limb on this matter. It's a deeply unpopular measure. It's not wanted by the advertisers, it's not wanted by viewers, it's not wanted by advertising agencies.
According to the Broadcasting Minister, everything in the bill is negotiable. There's concern about the legislation among backbenchers of all political parties, and they'll be pushing for compromise. Kim Catcheside, News at 10, Westminster.
The plan to sell off the franchises of ITV companies looks like being the most hotly debated proposal of the new bill. There are 15 regional companies that make up the ITV network. In 1992, each of them will have to bid for its own franchise, the right to broadcast to its local area. Penny Marshall now reports on how Granada, the company that currently serves the northwest of England, is hoping to hold on to its franchise and what it plans to do if it doesn't. ITN is jointly owned by Granada and the other 14 regional ITV companies.
Coronation Street is probably ITV's best-loved programme, but its makers, Granada, face an uncertain future. There'll be fierce competition for their franchise in 1992. Their broadcasting contract for the North West is thought to be worth up to 150 million, but it's difficult to value accurately. Among those who could bid for it, although no one knows for certain, are Brookside's Phil Redmond, Eddie Shah, Owen Oyston of Piccadilly Radio, and from Europe, Italy's TV magnate Silvio Berlusconi, rumoured to want a slice of British TV. Granada will fight back hard and could team up with an international conglomerate like Time Warner to add financial metal to their bid. Granada's confident some of their programmes, like Coronation Street, will survive in the marketplace even if their bid fails.
If somebody bids more, and if somebody decides to give the contract to somebody else, then we have an excellent production and distribution company, which frankly owns some of the most successful programmes in commercial television terms, and also has the rights and ownership of a lot of programmes that would, I suspect, leap any Beecher's Brook quality hurdle.
One of their programmes, What the Papers Say, has already been sold to BBC Two, evidence of market forces in action. But Granada believes series like World in Action could be threatened if franchises go to the highest bidder. They maintain checkbooks rather than quality will determine schedules under the competitive tendering process.
I'm not entirely sure that that isn't the best service of the viewers, because what you're doing is bidding away your future profits in such a way that it could affect the decisions you've made about the range of programmes you're going to offer.
But newcomers dismiss this talk as alarmist and self-interested.
My personal view is that, yes, the money is there and it will continue to be there. What might be missing at the moment is really the political will to accept that, and also to continue with the drive to bring down costs.
Undoubtedly, Coronation Street will survive the ITV shake-up to appear somewhere, but just who'll win control of the new-look Channel 3 and what shape it'll be in after the fight is much less certain.